Well, welcome back. This is my 2018 Toyota Tacoma. I've had it for 5 years. November will be 5 years. I just got it finally set up the way I want, that I feel comfortable about. But I had another video that I did, and I seemed to ramble quite a bit and not have a good train of thought. So this video specifically is about my second battery that I have in my truck. All of my accessories in my truck are hooked to my second battery. The only portion of my main battery that's anything is hooked to is the winch on the front right there, and that has an on-off switch because I'm pretty sure it's got a capacitor that's charged all the time and it will drain your battery if you don't have a specific switch for it. So that being said, we'll go ahead and get started and do a little tour here. Okay, so for my truck, and hopefully we can see this, I took the filter off. So I went with a 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery as opposed to a lead acid or a absorbed glass mat and AGM battery. They're a little bit more expensive, but you get a better depth of discharge, meaning that typically on a lead acid battery, you're going to get about 50% of what your amp hour rating is. So say you got, back when I had a sailboat, I had a second battery in there and it was an AGM. And if it was a 50 amp hour battery, that means that I would get 25 amp hours out of it, meaning I could run a single amp draw for 25 hours. You would never get it for 50. On an absorbed glass, or not absorbed glass, on a lithium iron phosphate battery at 100 amp hours, you're going to get close to 100 amp hours, meaning that you can draw a single amp for 100 hours, which is over 4 days. So I run, like I said, I run everything off of my second battery, all of the exterior lights, and then I have a separate panel in the back of the bed of the truck that I'll show you that I use for like my Starlink and lights for cooking and diesel heater, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so this is the system I have in the back of my truck. So what I did is I took apart and I removed the back plastic storage area that go in the back of Tacomas right here. So I have a double cab, so I've got a full second back seat. This is my 100 amp hour battery right here, and then this is a DC to DC charger. And the reason why you want a DC to DC charger, let's turn this like that, right here is unless you have an upgraded alternator, you're going to burn your stock alternator out. So this is, they make them in all different sizes. This one right here automatically detects what kind of battery you have, because your iron phosphate batteries will have a circuit board in them, because they have to, all of the cells have to be charged evenly across the board. You can't just take any old charger in a lithium iron phosphate battery and charge it. The lithium iron phosphate is a different chemical compound versus just lithium ion. They're very, very less susceptible to fire. You can get them wet, unlike lithium ion battery, which will catch fire and explode. And then your DC to DC charger, mine's set at 40 amps, so it will charge, it will draw 40 amps only or less, depending on the back and forth between the two circuit breakers that they say. This also here has I have the ability to do solar charging, so I actually just have a coil of wire here about 20 feet, so I can put out a solar panel when I'm stationary, and I can charge this without the truck running. So all the wiring right here, I put this, as opposed to mounting your battery in the engine bay, I went and did it in the center of my truck, because I knew I'd be going to the back and I knew I'd be going to the front. So I'm about halfway. Not that you're going to lose a whole lot of power running 12, 15 feet on number 6 wire. That's one thing that you have to know and understand. ChatGPT is a fantastic resource if you're going to build your own system. That way you don't burn your truck up. If you run too small a wire and you pull too much power and you don't have the right fuse in there, you're going to cause a fire. And that's the last thing you want to do. That's why at the very beginning I was saying if there's pre-built systems, and if you don't feel comfortable building your own system and not worrying about a fire, I would buy a pre-built system, or even do a pre-built and have somebody install it for you. So that's this here. That's kind of a close-up of the charger, the DC to DC charger. It's got buttons here. It'll tell me if I can do solar charging when I have a panel plugged in. And then I have two separate breakers here. One breaker goes to the back, and then one breaker goes to the front of my truck. And then I'll show you, I have a bus bar in the back, in the engine bay of my truck, and I'll show you that one next. Okay, so this is the engine bay of my truck. To give you an idea, so I run my wire is right here, this red and blue wire. So I have a red wire running to a bus right here. This is a positive bus. A good thing about having a second battery here is that I can jump my primary battery just with a simple cable that's that long, because I can go from my bus to my positive terminal here because they're separate, and I can jump my truck. Right here, this is the switch assembly that I have right there. And then this is another breaker I have. I probably have too many breakers. And I said number 6, I'm actually running 4-gauge wire because they're 60 amp breakers. And the reason that I run breakers versus fuses is because it's simple for me to work on whatever I need to do. I can just press this and the circuit's off, versus having to pull a fuse and do all that kind of stuff. If they trip, which I have done, pulling too much amperage off of a circuit, they'll pop, and I can do that. They're waterproof, so they're made for, I got marine application ones, so that way I can worry about them and not worry about it getting wet. So this breaker here is for my DC to DC charger right there. This breaker here is for my switch assembly, and then I've got the breaker in the back that goes to this right here. So which is kind of it's a little bit of a long run to get it back here. The way that I fed it through, there's on the very bottom of your truck, under the back seat, there's 2 plugs, like drain plugs. I went under, and then it sticks right at the chassis where the frame and the truck sit together. It's right there, and it's zip tied all the way up. Let me get back over this way. Zip tied all the way up, and it comes up into the engine bay on this side, and you can see down there. So it goes down up underneath the truck, and then it's all tied together here. And then I've got my switch assembly for all of my exterior lights. This is my switch for my winch right here, and that's directly to my main battery. It's just got an on-off switch like this. Pretty simple. They're inexpensive, and it is something you want to do. There is I did 3D print this base right here, this adapter, because that's what it's made for. If you have a 3D printer, or you have somebody that you know owns a 3D printer, they are extremely useful. I don't have one currently because it kept breaking and I got tired of fixing it. So it is what it is. My Starlink mount on the top roof rack of my truck is also a 3D print for my Gen 2 dishy. So that's what my engine bay looks like for hooking everything up. Okay, so for the very back of my truck, let's get this back up here, because oftentimes a lot of us, we cook on the tailgate of our truck. I put 2 of these Harbor Freight rock lights in right here. There's one here and one here. They only draw maybe 2 amps when they're on. They're super bright, super helpful. I have not hardwired it yet, but if we come in here, okay, so this right here, if we all know that this is for the back of the truck, this is a little cubby. So what I did is I bought a Blue Sea Systems. Basically, it's a bus panel, so all of your grounds go to one place, and I can't get in there. I'll attach a photo So all I did is just use these automotive switches right here. So I've got a main switch, so that will control my 12 volt plug here. It's just a cigarette lighter plug. I've got two Anderson power pole switches right here, and then I've got my voltage right here. This is not connected to anything. I used to have like little lights that aren't real bright, but I'm thinking that my tailgate lights will go right there. So there's a whole lot of stuff I could use right here. I use the dishy I plug into here for my Starlink. The diesel heater goes right here. So I can pull quite a bit of amperage, and each one of these has their own fuse, which is replaceable back behind here. So this is what I have for now in this system. The other side is still available for storage. Oops. Right back here on this side. So that's what I have for my truck, for my second battery. I hope you liked the video. I hope it's informative. It takes lots and lots of research before you decide to pull the trigger on everything. I forgot to mention my battery. My second battery actually has a Bluetooth app, so I can see how much power it's pulling. And I'll take a screenshot of that and post that in the video. So, like I said, hope you like this. Any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to reach out, and I'll catch you on the next one.